Cola, and Marcel is blowing his nose.
What? Don't do me like, hi, it's Marcel.
What is Austin doing over there?
Just looking fly, you know.
We are
With the clap.
WHOHURTU, and today we're talking about boogers and No, we're talking about when niggas don't wash their hands. No, you don't have boogers. When niggas don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's nasty.
you should always do that.
Just wash them.
No, I'm just kidding. We're actually talking. So if you watched the last
part
episode,
one of this,
part one,
yeah.
We were talking about trauma bonding, love addictions, being addicted to your abuser,
Toxicity, and
Yeah,
why we keep
toxic
going back
people.
to it. Yeah.
And today we're gonna give you we're gonna talk about healing. We're not talking about healing in the sense of, well, we're fucking perfect and we have this
No
shit
one's
together.
perfect.
I am still hurting, okay? But I want to talk about things that help me get through the day.
I ain't no idol, I'm a lighthouse, I set everybody free.
You could talk about things that help you get through the day. Because what I've learned is, like, we're always going to be going through something.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's like life is a simultaneous series of ups and downs. And we just have to learn how to take it day by day.
Yeah, I look at it as lessons. Like, everything that happens to you for a reason. You're meant to learn something from that, and if you don't learn from that, it's gonna repeat itself.
Like, don't just wallow in your shit.
Yes.
And like stay in a dark room watching movies on your MacBook and eating
That's what
jelly beans.
I feel personally attacked right now.
I was about to say, I do that.
Right?
Like, and
That
honestly,
does nothing
no,
for
I
the
know.
collective.
But
That's
it's
like this
okay.
weird
It's okay to
thing.
do it for a short amount of time.
A day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't like.
But like, I'll be in these situations sometimes where like I'll be in that, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, oh, I know this isn't helping. And then like, I know if I go outside and just like experience the sun or
Yeah.
walk
The
around,
sun.
I
or
love
like
the sun.
interact with like other people,
Mhm.
my entire mood changes, and I
Yes.
like, whoa, life
Yep.
exists. But yeah.
Well, not only that, don't let your pain be in vain and just for you. That's selfish. Like, use it to fuel you.
Okay, yeah.
Even if you don't want to talk about, because I'm very vocal, and that's one of the things that psychologists recommend when you're going through something. Talk to it about anyone who will listen, not someone who's going to use it against you, but
Yeah.
anyone who will listen. Talk about it with them, because you have to get that shit off. You honestly have to get so tired of talking about it that you're like, why am I fucking even talking about this anymore? Like, why am I going through
Or another one is write yourself a letter. Like, basically what you're trying to say is get the emotion out.
Yeah.
Get it out, so that way you're able to let in the healing and let positive energy manifest inside of you.
Yeah, or
That's
if
what
you're
I was-
musicians like
I was about to
us.
say, that's all I was doing music.
Music.
Like, yeah. That's all
Yeah,
I
like
let
I'm
loose.
literally writing my album off this shit that's happening.
Hey,
Yo, that
what my
shit.
song gonna be
Oh,
about?
yo, she posted some shit the
What
other
my
day
song
that
gonna be
was
about? It's gonna be on the
fire.
twerking.
Thank you.
Maybe a thotty potty?
A thoughty potty?
A thought pocket? Thotty pocket?
Thought pocket?
Yeah, thought pocket.
Yeah.
Thoughty potty sounds intense.
Yeah.
That sounds
That sound intense.
really fucking wild. That's some
But fun.
whole
It's gonna be fun.
Oh,
You have a memory.
shit.
But yeah, so how do we heal, okay?
Yeah, how do we do?
So,
Teach us.
If you guys are spiritual, one of the things that you can do that I learned from my oracle is literally, like, you can write the person's name down,
Mhm.
you can put it in a coffin, and then you can burn it.
Bitch, where do you get
I was about to say, you
from?
start stabbing that shit?
Where do you
or
get the
what?
coffin
No,
from?
you can order them, like, probably on Amazon.
Oh, like a little baby coffin?
Put them in a coffin. You can have a ceremonial. You can even bury them in your
Oh,
backyard, but you need to fucking bury that shit and that idea
Mm.
of hope. You hope in something that is toxic for you will kill you.
Mm.
It is poison. Hope is such a wonderful. John Mayer has a line in his song that says, "Hope is a beautiful armor. It makes for the heaviest sword."
Yes, I love
You know
that.
that line?
What song is that? It's,
Waiting on the world to change, I
Yeah.
think, on Continuum. But that line means so much, because literally hope has given people like reasons to wage war, reasons
Yeah.
to, make money, to do so many things. But people don't think about how toxic it can be if you have hope in something that's not gonna fucking benefit you.
Right.
Like being in love with a toxic ass motherfucker. Or thinking your mama, who is 79 and has been talking shit to you your whole life,
Ooh.
is gonna all of a sudden change.
That's
Like,
true.
No, like, take people for face value and who they are, and who
Stop
they've
making
shown you
excuses.
to be. Yeah, stop making excuses for them. Forgive yourself.
Big
That's a really good one.
Forgive yourself, because that guilt that you have thinking all the shit that you did wrong. See, it's one thing to be like, okay, I did this wrong, I'm gonna change and be accountable. But it's another thing to be like, I did this wrong, I'm so fucked up, I'm the reason that I don't have blah blah blah, I should just die. Like, no.
It's like the opposite of like in part 1 we talked a little bit about like sometimes abusers might ignore the abuse and only focus on the good. Well, in this case we might ignore the good in ourselves and only focus on like,
The bad.
man, I fucked up. Man, I
Another-
fucked up. That's all I am right
It's
now.
another version of dimming your own shine and your own light to make someone else's more comfortable. It's like you should never be in situations like that. Never sell yourself short.
Be accountable and grow, but
Yeah.
like don't like
Yet never turn yourself down to turn someone up.
Yeah. Don't get addicted to the disappointment, because a lot of us look at failure as like this huge thing and we just like revel in it. And it's like, okay, what was I supposed to learn? You know, how is this going to make me better for the next time?
I think another really big one that we didn't talk about is expectations. We have to stop holding these people to such high expectations, because if they're giving you face value and you're like, well, maybe they'll change, they used to be, you're expecting
It's okay.
expecting them
Yep.
to go back to how they were. But if this is how they are now, then it's up to you, because the ball technically is in your court.
Yeah. That was part of the reason that I held on so long. Was like, oh, he was so great at one point, so
Yeah.
I know he can go back to that. And then I was like, fuck, why is he not going back to that? Like, because like I said in the last episode, once he told me what was bothering him, I adjusted and I tried to like grow from it. I thought my boob was out, thank God. Like, oh, nip slip. Yeah,
get banned on YouTube.
no, we might get more views.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, and then also like recognizing what you've allowed and setting boundaries is super important, because it's like we'll do so much for relationships. Like, all right, well, fuck it, I want him so bad, I'll just let him cheat.
Ooh.
Or,
oh my God.
oh my God, I want my family so bad. Like, if he just hits me once a month.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, we always
Oh
make
my God.
excuses like, yeah, go ahead.
I posted the funniest thing on Facebook last night. I was like, these situationships are literally getting out of hand, period. Because that's basically a situationship. If you're allowing for your partner to disrespect you, and you're allowing for them to step out, and you're basically allowing them to do whatever that you don't view it,
Right.
just for the sake of the relationship, that's really not a relationship, because a relationship is what? 50-50? That becomes a situationship.
This psychologist said something that you are only responsible for 50% of the relationship, but you're 100% responsible for yourself.
That part.
So
Speak on it.
it's like, okay, you can only do so much, but
Very
you
true.
need to be accountable for what the fuck you're feeling and what you're going through. Like, at one point I wanted my ex to like feel as sad as me, because I'm so fucking sad and I'm so mad, so you need to know like how mad I am and how you
Right.
hurt me. And then I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have to get over this shit on my own. He's never going to understand how this has affected me, and that's not his job.
One thing, I wrote down a note, okay, because I never really write
Yes,
these down.
notes.
But no, like I wrote down
Show
toxic
them
people.
your cute card.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
It's upside down.
yeah. But no, I wrote toxic people are a reflection of our own views of ourselves. Like when we're
Oh,
with them,
ooh.
because, and it's what you're saying. It's like if I'm allowing that person to continue to be toxic in my life, I don't love myself enough. I'm not 100%. Like you said, like you're responsible for 50% of that, but 100% of you. If you let them do that, like we give our energy to the unhealthy vices instead of our own self-worth that we don't acknowledge.
That is very
Wait,
true.
read that first line again.
Toxic people are a reflection of our own view of ourselves if we allow them to be in our
So
life.
it's kind of like projecting, like you're
Yeah.
projecting your own insecurities and issues that you have on yourself in the next
Well, if
person.
I let them continue to be toxic in my life, then I feel toxic about myself.
This
Like
is
I don't
important.
love myself enough.
This is important because there's this saying that goes around that's like, if you, like basically it just says that like you attract who you are.
yeah, yeah.
okay.
That's bullshit. Because I didn't attract my rapist or my child molester.
Oh my God.
I didn't attract the man that hit me. I wasn't hitting nobody. I've never raped nobody. I've never molested nobody.
Oh my God.
So that saying really, I think people misinterpret and
Yes.
mean what you just said. And what you just said was allowing these things. And I'm not saying that rape is what you allowed or
Right.
molestation. I'm talking about like.
I'm talking about in the terms of a
abuse.
relationship where it's
Yes.
toxic and
Yes.
you were like, hey, we're both in this
Yes.
and it's toxic. Then if you allow that, continually, then
Then
you
that's
don't
how
view
you view
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, you view yourself
Yeah.
as, oh, I'm worth
Okay.
whatever this toxic shit is.
And that's what I think the true meaning of you attract what you are means.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think that it literally means that you
Right.
attract an abuser because you're an abuser.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're attracting an abuser because somewhere psychologically
You're
you
allowing
feel that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
You guys are allowing it. That
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's
Damn.
and it's so fucked up because like we'll be like, I don't deserve this.
But you're
But
tolerating
you
it.
stay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Damn.
I've stayed. I've
We've
been like,
been-
I don't deserve for you to cheat on me. I don't deserve for you to talk to me like that. And then I stay.
Yeah.
So
Just-
then I really must think I deserve that.
Well, but it's everyone has their own journey. We're all like, I feel like life is really just a journey of figuring out how to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
most like, when you love yourself to the full extent, that's when you become your best self. That's when you become your best friend. That's when you become your
Very
best
true.
partner. That's when you become your best business person. That's when
Very-
you know, like
ooh,
every
speak on
fucking
it.
thing you do.
Okay.
If you love yourself fully and 100%, you don't give a fuck if someone's toxic or you don't give a fuck if
And-
someone's jealous because you're like,
And-
I'm me.
Yes.
Energy
Right.
away.
And
Like,
another trait
I'm
on
done.
that too,
Yeah.
to interject on that, is
Yeah.
we need to learn the difference between selfishness and self-love.
Yes.
Because a lot of people like to think that by you even doing that or being like that, you're selfish.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not selfish,
No.
because at the end of the day, we need to start putting ourselves first. But with that being said, loving yourself enough to be able to know that if you putting yourself first is being negative or causing or negative traits, those are things that you need to change.
Yeah.
Loving yourself fully and being a humble person
Yes.
are mutually exclusive. Like, you can be both.
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Like, but some people are just like, they're just so into themselves and all they care about is trying to be their best self. It's like, yeah, duh.
Motherfucker,
Do you want me to be a
yes.
good person for you? Let
Right.
me be great for me.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Let me be great.
Yes.
I love that. This
I
was an
do
amazing
too.
episode.
Yes.
I learned.
Bars.
I learned a lot.
Bars.
Hey, that's a song.
Another thing is to stop living in fear of loneliness.
Mm.
A lot of us are scared to be alone, or we
Oh, yeah.
hide our
Very true.
identity.
Stop.
We hide our identity in like our relationship, like our family. You know,
Mm,
yeah.
I know a lot of women, like especially this happens a lot to stay-at-home moms. They're like, oh
Yeah.
well, my husband and and look at my ring and it's just like
Yeah.
your whole identity is being a wife, and there's so much more to you than that. Family is so important. I think it's when you do have a healthy family, it's like the number one thing. But actually, no, I don't think it's the number one thing. I think you should be the number one thing,
Mhm.
and then your family should come, because you're not gonna have a healthy family if you don't have your shit together. Your
Yeah,
kids are
very
gonna
true.
know when you're fucked up.
Also, another thing I just read recently where it's saying that we need to change the variation of how people view as family, because people always assume that a family means you're a woman or like a partner,
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and all that. Family can be, this is a family. Or it's a
Yes.
safe space. Like
Yes.
you can
Y'all are a family.
Yes.
y'all are a family. You can be a family with you and your
Some
cat.
of y'all
like,
are
you-
toxic.
We'll work on it.
In the motherfucking comments, okay?
We'll work on it.
Get your
Yes,
bitch ass.
troll.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think that's
That's
where we need to
really
start
true,
being
yeah.
able to really differentiate and really start allowing ourselves to understand that I matter, I love myself, I'm important, and that it's okay to cut people out of your life. It's okay to cut off negative traits about yourself that you don't like.
Yeah.
And just really, really take accountability for your life and the things that you can do better for yourself and the things that you are able to change that you don't like within yourself.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Another thing is, so since we're talking about change, that was a great segue, thank you.
And I didn't even see the card.
Yeah. Anyone has the ability to change, but most people will not change. So
Very true.
you cannot have hope that they will change. You
Yeah.
have to stop listening to their words and them saying, baby, please, I've
Mhm.
changed, or whatever. You have to watch the actions,
Yup.
and the actions need to be consistent. Because I remember my son's father, he literally, this is like, it's fucking clockwork. And he was bipolar, and he's a Leo, so I feel like this is just like a whole thing. 1 minute, so he'd do something, like he'd cheat or whatever, and then he'd be like, I'm so sorry, and then he'd take me on a trip, and the whole trip, we'd be gone for like a week, he'd be so good, and then as soon as we get back home, back to the cheating and the abuse.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then, oh baby, I'm sorry again, and
Oh,
then,
it's just like the equivalent of like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass. Here's a bag. I'm gonna beat your
yes!
ass. Here's a gift.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, bags, he was doing that. I was like 20, so I was
Yeah.
dumb and like, literally.
You're not. You weren't dumb. You were just young.
That was
I
you.
was young,
You were-
yeah, I
you
just
were the
didn't
moment.
know
You were
any
young.
better.
You were still getting. You were still.
But,
Naive.
but also,
yourself.
like, so many people. Guarantee you, a lot of people right now are watching that and be like, oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's been there. And if you say you haven't been there, you're the problem.
Yeah. No, literally. And so you want consistent actions because someone could be cool for a week, a month.
Yeah.
Shit, someone could be cool for a whole year and still turn around and just, so you want consistency. You want to, things like them going to therapy, wanting to read with you, wanting to sit down and have open, honest communication. Like, you want to see a consistent change in their actions. It's the only time you should have hope, because otherwise, like, just listening to them say, hey baby, I've changed, that's bullshit.
Do you think that people don't have a problem with changing because if they literally change, that would be admitting that they have an issue within themselves? And a lot of people just really don't want to take accountability for their actions?
I think that one of the reasons they do that is that I think also people are scared. I think people have fear, like, oh, if I get my shit together for her and she still hurts me, then I got hurt and I put in all
That's
this
such a
work for
bitch
someone.
little boy, like a little, like not a little boy, just in general. That's
It's
just,
just
an immature mindset.
Because you should always try to put your best foot forward. And then if you fail at that point, then it's like, okay, well, at least I tried.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing anything, it's like, you never know what could have happened.
Yeah.
Just give it your all if you can and try to do, if you fuck up, like, I don't know, maybe, you guys let me know, maybe it's just me, but it's like, if I fuck up, I want to try to rectify it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a normal human interaction to be like, acknowledge, like we talk about accountability all the time, like be accountable for your shit, be like, hey, I did this, I fucked up, and then rectify it. But then, like you said, it's not just words, it's actions. Like, how do I, and then that's how you have to communicate, like, how can I rectify this with you? How can I, like, make this better in the way I live every day with you?
Every
That's
day.
a good point, because with me, how I view my life and how I do things, like, I actually enjoy my fuck-ups because they allow for me to be able to correct something that I didn't know about myself, or to be able to learn from that situation.
But that means you're healthy and you're
trying
growing as a person, but a lot of people are not healthy. They don't have access to, like, these tools, or even self-discipline is so rare and so needed nowadays. Like, a lot of us are not disciplined enough to say, like, hey, I'm hurt right now, so I'm not gonna go fuck this person to get over it, or I'm hurt right now, so I'm not gonna engage in the name calling and the blah blah. Like, that shit is hard, especially if that's all you know, especially if you grew up in toxic environments and all you know is the yelling and the arguing, or daddy and mommy argued, so daddy went and left the house, and now that you're older, daddy went to leave the house to fuck that bitch.
That part.
So,
or even had you in the room playing with the bitch's
right.
kid. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yes, like, that's literally, I mean, even with my dad, I saw women coming in and out. So, sometimes you could think that that's okay. For me, that never clicked for me. I actually tried it. I tried to be with a man, and I was like, we'll just be together and whatever, and if he does stuff and I don't know, or if I find out, I'll kind of look past it. But then I was like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good in here.
That's good. You brought up a really good point, because to segue into that, I think another thing we need to talk about is change. Because we need to stop being so hard on ourselves to understand that the person you are today is completely different from the person you were 3 months ago, as well as the person you were 6 months ago. And who you previously used to be or allow to happen does not define who you are for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and don't let those people keep you there, because they will.
Exactly.
My ex is trying to keep me into, like, where I was, and it's so crazy because I'm like, I did so much work, like, even since you know me, like, I've done so much work from that time that it's like, that's another part of my ego. It's like, how do you not see I did all this work?
Well, that's a great point, because, like, when you're hurt by someone, you want them to know and understand
that is fucking
everything.
You're like, you did this to me,
and honestly, it doesn't fucking
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
But also, we're wrong for thinking that way. Not just from, like,
that's just the human in us.
It's a pride thing, but it's not healthy. That's toxic in and of ourselves, to be like, you have to understand how you hurt me.
Yeah, because you're not allowing.
Fuck you! You hurt me. I'm gone. I'm moved on. I'm growing.
You're not allowing yourself to let it go.
Right? All you're doing is saying, hey, that negativity that we had between us, I'm going to keep focusing on it and make sure that we do this until maybe in my mind you're going to, like, come around and be like, yeah. But, like, that's on them.
They're never going to come around.
If they are doing, once again, it's like, you got to understand your own shit. Like, if he really cares how he hurt you, he's gonna learn, he's gonna grow, he's gonna take time, and then he's gonna reflect and
No,
be like,
instead he's teasing me.
exactly.
He's like, you made a whole movement behind me, and you da 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 da, and I'm like,
Ew.
You're like,
I was like, I'm helping people, and
yeah.
I know, isn't that crazy? And like that really hurt my feelings.
That's so
But that's what I'm saying is like someone that thinks
I'm
that
disappointed
way.
in you, sir.
Someone that thinks that way though, look, hey, you know what? You got to figure shit out. Someone that thinks that way is too busy thinking about you and what you're doing to better yourself instead of how they can better themselves.
That's my whole point.
So
I'm like, why are you so focused on me
Listen.
and how I hurt you instead of thinking about how you can grow? Like, I literally have thought about how this has made me grow so much, and
Right.
like, I have also taken accountability of my part in this shit. Like,
right.
You have to. Oh my God, that is so.
Yes.
You made a really good point. Like, you can't always say when someone hurts you, oh my God, they did this, they did this, they did this, they did this.
Right.
Bitch, what did you do?
right, which is why I talk about how I had the friend, and like
Right.
there were certain things that I could have done.
Like you are working on yourself. You
Yes.
are working on you, and
all
like
are.
that's
Even
on him
you.
to figure out. And honestly, like wish him the best. Like, hey,
I
man, figure.
do.
And I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying like, hey, that's on
Yeah.
you. Figure it out.
Especially
You'll be
because we
good.
have a daughter. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck, I don't
exactly.
want you to fuck up our daughter. Like, how many women have you fucked up? Like, I want our daughter to see our relationship moving forward and be like, my parents are cool.
Right.
Or maybe this is not the relationship she needs to see. She needs to see your Russell Wilson relationship.
Ooh,
That's
she
manifest,
needs to see
okay?
the new
We
man.
calling the new man daddy,
The new-
okay?
No, we're not doing that. we are not.
Just saying.
So let's. So nope, we're not doing it. Let's talk about co-parenting then, because that's.
Okay.
I mean, we're segueing into that, and you have
Yeah.
a lot to say about co-parenting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
You're a
lie.
co-parent.
Like I am. It's been like we're both really like we care about the kids, right? So like everything we do is like for the kids, and we don't let them see any type of things. Like we're still working on stuff, you know. We gotta
Yeah.
figure it out. But like,
Yeah.
but in terms of like the co-parenting part, it's like like we just want the kids to be like no, like they're never gonna doubt that she loves them and I love them. You
Okay.
know.
How did you guys, like, initially when she was still kind of hurt and everything first happened, how did you kind of like help just mend things or get your relationship? Because it's really hard to co-parent with someone that broke your heart.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right now
Yeah.
I have no contact. I went no
Yeah.
contact because like
Is
we
it
were
helping?
talking. It helps every time we don't talk.
Okay.
Because when we do talk, at first it's arguing. Then he's trying to be really nice and he gets a little too friendly.
Okay.
And it
A little more
confuses me because I'm like, you know, I'm still in love with you, so why are you
Right,
why are you
yeah.
touching me like that?
Right.
So then I'm like, you know what, you're fucking with me. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I have
That's
to go
healthy.
no. Yeah, I
That's
have
good
to
that
go
you
no.
see those signs now. How many
Because
times
I'm
did
not
it take
gonna
you to
have
get
him
there?
fucking with. I mean, we broke up last May. It's the end of April, so
No, because that's a really valid point, because I feel like sometimes we're like,
the whole time I had hope.
yeah, because
For
you
the
have
last
hope, so
year.
you're like, when they start doing little kind gestures, you're like, okay,
Oh,
well
he
maybe.
did all the gestures.
So it's like, no,
Tried
cut,
to
like,
kiss me,
Duque,
to
no, ghost,
touch
cold
my
turkey.
waist.
Yeah, that was never, we were never on that type of thing, but it was more so like, I'm just trying to understand, like, because I hurt her, right? And so,
Right.
like, you know, like, I tried to communicate the best I could of where I was at, but I also was just trying to figure my shit out, too.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a hard thing, like, to deal with. But through all of it, like, we've always just, like, said, hey, like, the kids, they're the kids. Like, we
Yeah.
want to make sure that, and, like, well, you know, I'll be over and stuff, and, like, we're all hanging out, but it's just,
Oh my
like,
God.
but it's, I don't know.
That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, well,
If
I mean,
I was still hurt.
honestly, like, so we're doing that now at a point where it's like, you know, she has like a boyfriend.
No,
now,
you
so,
guys
like,
are good now, but what about in the beginning when you were over
Yeah.
there? Did she try
Oh.
to sleep with you?
Ooh.
Did you?
No,
No.
no. It was like, no.
Did she curse you out?
Oh, probably. I don't know. I don't remember.
Uh-uh.
It was a rough time for me, man.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, like, how did
well,
you
no,
smooth it over? Were you patient with it? Like, give the guys
That's,
some tips that are
that's
watching.
a really good one. Patience.
Yeah, like, because my
Time.
thing is like,
I think also,
if you
though-
hurt somebody,
well, one, everyone's gonna react differently. Two,
Yeah.
sometimes it just takes a little bit of like it even is now at times, but it's just gonna be awkward at times.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
but if you say, hey, I care about the kids, and we both want to make sure that the kids understand that we love them, and like sometimes that means we're doing things together, or sometimes it means like we're interacting and crossing over. It's like, even if it's awkward between us, we're adults, we can deal with that shit, and we can
Yeah.
do that on our own personally. But like, you don't want the kids being around if we're like, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them to ever see that. I don't, and like, I've never disrespected my ex, like, and I never will, and I'm never gonna say that to my kids. Like, I'm never.
You always respect them, other yourself.
Yeah, like I never want that to be a thing where my kids hear me like say something because I'm annoyed at her about something.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't fucking
That's
matter.
very respectable, and that's very rare because a lot of niggas be cursing their.
That is true.
No, she's an amazing mom. Like she's an amazing
I'm
person.
an amazing fucking mom, and
I
I'm
know.
an amazing person, and these niggas will still find a way.
Well, they trash. I'm just trash. They trash.
Yeah. Like how you abuse me, I leave you, and then you talk shit about me.
And then talk shit about the movie that you started.
Yeah,
What?
like no, like this is so positive. Anyone that has anything negative to say about them,
Can get these
again,
hands
I'm
on
gonna
each other.
pray for them. Like I'm staging for you. I'm trying to get the demons out because you got some demons. If you have something negative to say about this.
Yeah.
But as far as co-parenting, if you're still in love with the other person, just for me personally, I had to go no contact because that other person, if they're fucking sick, which most of them are, will say things to you to string you along.
They know your triggers.
To prevent you from moving on. They don't want to see you happy with someone else. Yes, they do know your triggers. They'll fuck with you. Like if you're around them, they'll touch you. And no, you just to stay away if you can. You know, I'm blessed to have nannies and assistants. So my nannies and assistants can, you know, meet. And it's like, fuck, if you don't have that, try your mom. See if you have a best friend or somebody you trust to like meet the parent to get the kid. Don't have them come to your house because then he'll want to come inside and he
Take his shoes
may
off.
want to take you down.
Oop.
And no, you can't do any of that because you're trying to move on.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think, and maybe, well, actually, no, I actually do believe this is true. If someone is not like, you're not caring about your kid enough if you fuck around to the point where you have to get cut off.
Yeah.
Like I know like there should be boundaries.
Oh,
There should be
shit.
boundaries. Like obviously like you guys don't need to hang out together, just you two, right?
Yeah.
The exes, like
Yeah.
because it might be weird or you
Yeah.
still have feelings.
He
cool.
still has feelings too. He
No,
just-
yeah, you're cool,
Shit,
cool.
let's get
but
that
like,
clear.
But like, and I don't even know what the situation is with y'all, but like
we
I
both
know.
still have feelings, so we can't.
Well, no,
hang out.
I mean in terms of like your daughter together.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes it might be like, oh well, you're just not gonna see your daughter anymore, and it's
Oh,
like
try to use the kids as
well,
leverage.
well, yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like, if that person can't work with you enough to be like, hey, we care about our kid to where we can both see them and both
Right,
interact, right? And like, then you don't care about your kid. Like,
Yeah,
you're
that's
so
very true.
prideful.
They can't act right.
You're so prideful that you
Okay,
can't
yeah.
get it right just for your kid.
Right.
And like,
Well,
it's-
and no, that is a thing. They are
Yeah.
so prideful that they can't get it right for their kid, and also they should want the other parent to be mentally stable. You
Right.
should not want your child to be with a whole human who's depressed and fucked up and all kinds of things because your ass couldn't control your mouth or your hands or whatever it is.
That goes on the lines of the guys who are like, your mother kept you away from me. Nigga, what? You're an adult. You like what? You
Yeah.
couldn't figure this out?
Yeah.
What?
So I want to read one of. I get a lot of DMs,
DMs be
especially
popping.
from pregnant women and just people going through stuff. I get things from guys too, but this one I wanted to read because this woman's pregnant and it really touched my heart. She said, "I wanted to ask you how you've never had a good pregnancy. How did you continue to have children? As far as doing it all over again. I told myself I'll never have a child again. Then could I have some advice? I wanted to ask, but didn't want to put myself out there, so I'm not going to read her name, obviously. She said she's kind of embarrassed because she doesn't have any place to stay, so my baby father let me stay with him. I was literally sleeping in the car with a friend. And I feel better and forever grateful that he let me stay here." I want to stop there for a minute. Your baby's father let you stay at his house, and you feel grateful that he let you stay there. Like, that's not, he doesn't get a fucking award for that.
No.
Like,
well, I mean, especially like if you have no other place to go,
you're
that's his
pregnant.
baby.
You have his
Yeah.
baby in you. Like, no, fuck that. He
Yeah.
does not get an award for that. He should be
Those are things he should be
helping
doing.
you. Yeah, I've been homeless pregnant. I literally was walking, and I'm gonna talk about this in the baby daddy episode, but I was literally walking to college. I was in college with a guitar on my back, pregnant, to the bus, so I could get to my classes, because at the time I was on Medi-Cal because I couldn't afford insurance, and I had to be in school or have a job in order to keep my Medi-Cal. And the fact that the father of my child at that time did not pick me up or help me or do anything, like, it's so fucked up. And you should not praise this man for doing something that he should be doing anyways. As a human, if you were my friend, you would be staying with me.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't get you pregnant. So that man needs to let you stay with him. So that's that on that. And then now on top of this, you have a pulmonary embolism with 9 weeks left to go. So you're having health issues while you're pregnant. You have nothing, she says, I have nothing for my baby except onesies. It was a bad time to have a baby. But do you think it's better to struggle with my child or just let her go to adoption? But then again, that's heartbreaking. I would lose my mind and be sad all the time, but I want her to have better. What's your advice?
Oh my God.
That's a really good question. If you and the father are not in a good financial place and you're not good with each other, it sounds emotionally, there's nothing wrong with adoption. I know plenty of kids, I have family members that were adopted into my family and they lived a great life. There are options that you can have where you can stay in contact with the family, and I think that's a good option because you don't want the child to grow up like, why didn't my parent want me, and things like that, you know. And it just kind of sounds like you are just having a, you know, financially hard time and emotionally hard time. It doesn't sound like you don't love your baby and things like that. So search out adoption options that allow you to still be in their life.
Yeah.
And don't have guilt about it. I mean, if you have the opportunity, so many of us are fucked up because of our parents. And if you have the opportunity to give your child a better life, do it. Like, you don't, it's like you don't even know all of the shit that could happen between you and your baby daddy, or just you by yourself. Say he's completely out the picture. Like, you're gonna have to think about babysitting, how you're gonna afford that. You're gonna have to think about a place where you guys can stay. Are you guys gonna be in a shelter? So I don't see anything wrong with adoption.
That's just tough, man. First of all, I'm sorry that you're going
that's
through
really
that.
sad.
Like, and I mean, obviously, my first thought is like, oh, well, like, what friends and family do you have? But I know that there's plenty of times where it's like, you don't have those options. Like, they're not there for you. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, though, you want to do what's best for you and your baby. And sometimes, like you said, like, it might mean, like, wow, I just got to survive as me right now. And I know I can't provide for this baby, but, like, I don't want to have a newborn and then put them in a health situation where it's risky or they don't have all the things they have. So,
yeah, J-Lo's movie that, I forget the name of it, that where she like leveling up or something. In the beginning, like, you find out that she gets this job at this company, and the daughter, it was her daughter that she ended up giving up years prior because she couldn't take care of her. And so it was a beautiful thing because she gave her daughter up to this
wealthy man.
Well, she didn't know who she was giving it to, but her child ended up in a situation where she ended up growing being wealthy and having everything and being very well taken care of. And she was like, I'm so thankful that I gave you away because I was not in the right mindset to be able to take care of you, and your life ended up turning out amazingly.
Yeah, that's one thing.
It's kind of like that was,
like,
I wasn't ready for that question.
This is something I think about, like, with my kids, is like, oh shit, this makes me sad. Right? I don't know if I want to talk about this.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm like, oh my God.
No, but like, so, oh fuck, no, I can't do this. But yeah, like with my kids, like, like, it's hard because I'm not always like there with them. But I think about like the future, like, because it's not always going to be like this. So like, they right now might be like, oh, like, they talk to me, but it's like, why is dad not here all the time? And it's like, yo, I'm about to, like, as soon as I can, or as soon as it's like possible, I'm there. And like, so sometimes we might get caught up in the moment of like, yo, this is hard, and like, and this, everything's fucked. But it's like you just said, like, it might be, shit, what if, I don't want it to be like this, but maybe it's 10 years, and the next thing I know, I'm back with my kids, and now we're together all the time.
Do you want to say something to them, because they might be watching?
I mean, no, they ain't watching this. They're too young. But no, like, they know I love them. I talk to them all the time, But it's just one of those things where, like, I have to think about that sometimes, because, like, sometimes I'll get judged, and people are like, you're such a shitty dad. And then other times I'm like, oh, man, this really sucks. Like, I'm not there for them like I want to be. But then I'm like, I know, like, life is ups and downs, so you can always get to a point where, like, you get back on your shit, and then you know that you're always gonna love your child. I know I love my kids, like so they are never gonna doubt that. And so then one day you might have a reuniting thing, and then it's like it never happened.
It's temporary, and you've been there for your kids. You know, it's not like you were just left as soon as she
Right, yeah, and I was never like trying to just escape in general, but like,
and anytime you have a chance, you go. You know, when it financially and time
I mean,
permits, so don't be so
yeah,
hard
I
on
go.
yourself.
No, I go home like once a month, like to my
Yeah,
kids. So
don't
you're
be
like,
so hard on
yeah.
yourself.
We love you, Offset.
Yeah, we do.
I
love you,
appreciate it.
Offset.
Sorry, but yeah. Anyways, to
Don't
that lady.
apologize.
Don't apologize.
Oh yeah,
This is
fuck.
hurt
I
you.
tell my friend says that all the time. I'm like, why are you apologizing?
I have a friend that does this shit too. All the
Yeah.
time. He's like, and I was like, bitch, why are you always saying
You're
sorry?
human.
And he's like, I don't even
Yeah.
mean it. I was like,
I don't even mean it.
So hopefully our answer helped you make
Yeah.
the decision. Just kind of seeing the struggles that he has to deal with and the things that I've had to deal with, and that adoption option is not. It's not the worst thing.
yeah.
Okay?
And also remember, just because you're struggling right now doesn't mean it's a lifetime.
Yeah,
Your struggles
yes.
are like moments in life. They're not forever.
Life is peaks and valleys. Like
Yeah.
that is so fucking true.
Yeah, and when your kid gets older, if you guys wanna, if he or she wants to come be with you, like that's an option too. It's not forever. So.
Or another good one, like in the movie, I think Zoe, for her daughter Zoe, she wrote her a letter.
Mhm. Oh yeah, she did
She
write
wrote
her a letter.
trying to
You
explain
can
herself.
write
to
your
the
child a
situation,
letter.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys. This has been so therapeutic, and I'm
I know, right?
so
I
grateful.
feel like both of these episodes we just
Right?
like talked
I
about
was
so
trying not
much.
to cry.
Yeah. It's so therapeutic and helpful and positive. So I don't know
Thank
how
you, Kay.
anybody could say anything negative.
Girl,
Hey,
for
listen,
real.
we don't even care about negative
We
energy.
don't
Like,
care.
all
We just laugh at you.
Posy Vibes 2019.
Posy vibes. We love
And
you.
we hope you heal, right?
Yes.
Aww, that's such a good